There's been a lot of mixed messages about McGlinchey's this week. On Monday, news broke that it was closing permanently. Then by Tuesday, the story was that the owner wants to close for a vacation with hopes to sell the place and later retire. So what's all the buzz about this place? McGlinchey's is a long-standing dive bar on South 15th Street downtown with cheap drinks and hot dogs. And it's also one of the few bars that still allows you to smoke inside despite a 2008 ban on smoking in most indoor spaces. So we're listening back to our 2023 conversation with Ali Mohsin, former food and beverage reporter for Billy Penn, and Sheldon Sokol, owner of McGlinchey's, about the bar's history and the culture and policies of smoking bars in Philly. It's Thursday, August 21st. I'm Trinae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. When you walk into McGlinchey's, there's stained glass on the window, there's wood panels and old pictures, even beer ads and drink specials on the walls. There are a few people sitting around the bar and chatting, which is the center stage of this place. And now I'm sitting at a booth with Ali Mohsin, and you cover the city's food and beverage scene for Billy Penn. And you wrote about how Philly's smoking bars are eventually going to phase out of the scene because of city regulations. May I ask you, are you a smoker? How did you find this story?
I used to be a very heavy smoker, and I found this story. There have been some story ideas that were on the list, and smoking bars was one of them, just looking at what happened to smoking bars after the pandemic. As someone who has a deep love for smoking bars, I immediately gravitated to that idea. At the same time, I was noticing headlines about how the U.S. was hitting an all-time low in terms of cigarette smokers. So talking to bar owners, it seemed the story was more, what is the future of these bars?
Right.
As opposed to the change they were making after the pandemic.
Gotcha. And we're also here with Sheldon Sokol, owner of McGlinchey's, which has been around since the 1950s. Your dad bought the place in the late 1960s. Has it always been a smoking bar here?
Yes.
Okay.
It's always been a smoking bar. But back then, almost every bar was a smoking bar. Booze and cigarettes go together.
What's a popular drink here?
Beer.
What kind of beer?
Rolling Rock, it's the cheapest we have.
Okay. Why have you kept it a smoker-friendly bar?
Because a lot of people in here smoke. So when they outlawed smoking, we had to get us the exemption.
In 2008, Philly banned smoking indoors. So how are bars able to have certain exemptions, right? So now I want to kind of figure out the rules around smoking in bars and restaurants in Philly. How does it work?
Well, so they got waivers in 2008. At the time when the law was put into place, as an owner of an establishment, if you can prove that 90% of your revenue came from alcohol sales, then you were given 90 days to apply for an exemption against the ban if you wanted to.
Okay.
And a handful of bars did. Since then, that 90 days is long past. It's not possible to apply anymore. So it's essentially the bars that have those exemptions continue to exist based on the exemptions. But once current ownership changes for whatever reason, those exemptions no longer, you can't transfer them. Even if it's to a member of the same family.
Wow.
So that means we're looking at 10, 15 years maximum for smoking bars in the city.
So eventually these bars kind of will fade out.
Yeah, unless there's a change in the law, which is unlikely.
So even if a bar gets a new owner, they can't keep that exemption?
Yeah, I was at Grumpy's Tavern on 9th and Cross, and I was talking to the owner, Joseph DeSimone, and he was telling me if he were to pass ownership to his son, that would not include the exemption against the smoking ban.
Wow. And that could also impact the customers that come in there. It could impact the future of their business.
Of course, it impacts, I think, even more than that, because if you're looking at Grumpy's specifically, that corner, that establishment has been a smoking bar since 1934, where it's called Pinto's. It opened up the year before, or the year after, sorry, the Prohibition. So you're looking at a 99-year history of a neighborhood smoking bar where still most of the regulars are neighborhood residents.
Right.
So yeah, it does change things. For example, South Philly, Fireside Tavern. A lot of the regulars at that bar are members of Local 542, the operating engineers union. And talking to the owner there, Mike Sullivan, it's like, this is a meeting spot for a lot of these people. This is a meeting spot for, people who happen to smoke.
It's special. It means something.
And it has been a meeting spot for that specific union for 5 generations, which his family have been members of that union for 5 generations.
We'll have more on this story after our break. If you're looking for more ways to enjoy Philly this summer, check out the Independent Seaport Museum and Homebrewed events for the first ever Drink the Delaware Festival. The festivities kick off on Sunday, September 7th from 4 to 9 p.m. Enjoy samples of local beer, ciders, and spirits, and learn how water is used in the process of making these drinks. Because regardless of what's in your glass, we can all cheer for the people keeping our region's waterways clean. This event is for those 21 and up. Tickets start at $50 per person and are going fast. Purchase yours at phillyseaport.org/drinkthedelaware. Ali, what do smoking bars mean to you and other people who like them?
So I moved to Philly, and I think the first thing I did was Google smoking bars, Philadelphia.
Pretty simple.
I ended up here, yeah.
Yeah.
Found this place, felt immediately at home when I walked in. And I don't know, I was hanging out here for a while. It's fun. I know that where I am right now at Billy Penn is a result of coming here as often as I did. All the friends that I made, the connections that I made, it all set me on a certain path. And I ended up feeling far more at home in the city because of this place.
Awesome.
So for example, I can tell you where I was sitting when I found out I got my first job here.
Oh, nice.
When I became a citizen, I came in. It was pretty early in the morning, and I came in here and mentioned it to an employee, John Rhodes, rest in peace. I told him, and he celebrated with me. He was buying me shots and playing songs on the jukebox like Springsteen and that I'm a Real American song, which, over and over and over again.
That's special.
Yeah, it's just, it means a lot to me. It's still, the friends that I still see and talk to on a daily basis are the ones that I met here, even though I haven't been coming in here as often anymore since I quit smoking. And I think these bars play that role in this city. I think, obviously, everyone goes to bars, but with smoking bars, it is a subculture. It's a community. It's like you're going to like a hobby store or like, and yeah, there's something special about that.
There's been years of health campaigns about the dangers of smoking. Don't smoke while you're pregnant. What does that mean for bars like you? How have you combat that over the years?
I got smoke eaters. See all these things? It's always clear in here. You never see the smoke.
I will say that it's very clear. I don't really smell like a smoky flavor or atmosphere in here. Have people pushed back in any ways on the smoking in your bar?
No.
Any critics?
Nobody talks to me.
Okay.
People walk in, they smell the smoke, and they walk out.
Okay.
Some people stay, some people walk out.
Is it unique to Philly that we have these smoking bars? Do other cities have these kind of smoking bars? Shelly's shaking his head. No?
Not many
Right.
have smoking.
So let's talk about just the culture around smoking, right? So I'm curious though, because people smoke hookah, they have cigar lounges in the city, downtown in Manayunk. People smoke cannabis. Vaping is pretty popular. And I see a lot of smoke shops popping up in neighborhoods around Philly. where you can buy anything that you need to smoke tobacco or cannabis. So smoking is happening. What do you think makes this different than what's allowed now?
Well, I was looking specifically at cigarette smoking. You're right, absolutely. There's vaping everywhere. Even in non-smoking bars, you see people trying to sneak.
Yes.
So it absolutely, I don't think smoking as a whole is on a decline. I was more interested in cigarette smoking and in what you said, like the character, kind of the atmosphere that comes with cigarette smoking bars. And in Philly's case, it was unique, both in it's one of the last U.S. cities, certainly the largest, where these bars exist in any capacity. But there's also so much history attached to them. And in the case of, for example, Friendly Lounge on Washington, like that bar has been recreated for that Scorsese movie, The Irishman, because like there's a lot of history there. You know, depending on who you talk to, you'll get different stories out of Friendly, but that's still pretty unique. And I don't know, I think it's sad for like to not be able to walk down Washington and go check that place out anymore.
Right.
There is absolutely a character that I think fits in with the Philly identity, kind of. This is a city that's proudly working class and you know, proudly rough around the edges. And you have a mascot like Gritty. Like, how do you not have smoking bars in the city?
Yeah,
So,
it makes sense. What does the future look like for smoking bars in Philly?
There's no future. Eventually, people will realize it's not good for you and they'll stop. Or the feds will make them stop.
Does that scare you in any way or worry
No.
you? Okay.
They'll still drink booze.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me for CityCast Philly.
Thank you.
You can read Ali's full story about McGlinchey's and other smoking bars in Philly in our show notes. Sokol told the Philadelphia Business Journal that McGlinchey's will close next Friday, August 29th, for a week-long vacation. There are plans to reopen the bar after that while they're looking for a buyer to take over. When ownership changes, it's likely that the indoor smoking permits won't pass over. So what comes next for the location will probably not involve cigarettes inside. We'll talk more about this story in tomorrow's Friday News Roundup. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. If you enjoyed this episode about McGlinchey's and the history of smoking bars in the city, share this with a friend. Rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter, Hey Philly, to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye. What's usually the vibe in this place?
There's no vibe. There's hardly anybody here.
Okay.